Let's take another question here. This is from Merdunga Drum. We got some interesting names here. When we measure how many books we've distributed, measure how many rounds we've chanted, or measure how many years in Krishna consciousness we've been in, we may equate this with measuring our bhakti. I guess, how do you feel about that, or what would you say about that, is the question?
Yeah, Madunga Drum Prabhu. This is a principle of bhakti practice. It sounds counterintuitive, like why are you so, why are you counting everything? But it's actually a principle that goes back. Srinivas Acharya writes about this in the Shad Goswami Ashtakam. He says, sankhya-purvaka nama-gana-natibhih kalavasani-kritau. So sankhya-purvaka means they counted everything. How many times they bowed down, how many rounds they chanted. I mean, how do you feel when you see somebody with a bead bag, it doesn't have any counter beads on it? Yeah, right. we know you're just moving your finger back and forth. But we count how many rounds we do because the mind is so crafty that if you don't count it, it might, I think I did 16, or it doesn't matter today. I'll make up for it tomorrow. And you could skip a week, a month, a year, a lifetime. So we don't trust the mind. It's like a wild animal. It can come out anytime and just devour us. So the bhakti yogis, those who are in Vaidhi Bhakti, they count everything. And the Goswamis weren't in Vaidhi Bhakti, but they set the example for everybody. Right. So what Prabhupada calls it is, he says, sankhya-purvaka means numerical strength. And look, if anybody's ever tried to do something like, let's say, lose weight, you say you got to take 20 pounds. Unless you start measuring, you're not going to take the weight off. You got to count, like, okay, wait, not another scoop of quinoa. It's got a lot of fat in it. It's like this is how much. You have to calculate. What gets measured gets done. And if you don't measure it, then you're not going to get to that spontaneous level, where you're doing enough so you get a taste where you want to do it. That's why it's important. And counting books, it's the same principle. There's no number that's high enough. Like right now, we're doing 2 million books. I was just talking to a gentleman this morning. He wants to help do 1 billion books. Wow. And that's fine too. And we will do that. But the fact is that that's not enough. So birds fly in the sky as high as they're able, and the sky is unlimited. So we can always add more zero, but we do it for what it makes of us to hit the goal. I'll give you an example. NASA. They go to a lot of trouble to put a rocket up. It is actually rocket science. And they do actually have to be careful about, the width of the O-ring and is there any grit in it, because it'll blow up. So they have to have impeccable management and organization to get these rockets to go up and actually work. So do you know that all modern management that's taught in the best universities comes from NASA? The management systems, they were invented in NASA under the pressure of the deadline of getting a rocket into space. So wow. What I like to say is the reason that we set goals in book distribution, like these big marathons, is what it makes of our communities to achieve them. For instance, right now, it's caught people's imagination all over the world now, Ras Prabhu. As I said, people are calling me every day now, say, I want in on this. How can I contribute? A godbrother called me today and gave me $1,000. He just said, I heard you're doing 2 million books. I want to be part of it. I'm going to send you $1,000. I got calls the last few days. Everyone wants to go for it. And how do we do it? We have to use all our skills and we have to find where the gaps are. Otherwise, how are we going to get to 4 and 5 million next year, which we have to do? Prabhupada said, the purpose, he writes this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, the purpose of the Krishna consciousness movement is to go on preaching unlimitedly. So what does that mean? We got to get better, right? We can't stay on a plateau, or otherwise it's totally boring. And the movement isn't even worth it at that point. You just start thinking like it's a bunch of problems. Everyone's got a different idea about, how things are supposed to be and what you're supposed to say and not say. Unless you have a missionary spirit and you're going for that goal, Madunga Prabhu, then you don't have that combustion, that fire that everyone's looking for, the mission, that we're going to do something good for people. Sampradaya, give the gift.
It's amazing. Wow.